All right, it's a little after 9 o'clock on this Tuesday, May 26, 2020. I call the Blanco County Commissioners Court to order. Ask Ms. Waller to call the roll. Here.
Commissioner Weir.
Here.
Commissioner Hooper.
Here.
Commissioner Leisman.
Here.
And Commissioner Granberg.
Here. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The public comment this morning has one sign up, Kenneth Welch, for items 13, 14, 15, and 16. The next item on the agenda is item 4, your review and consider approval of the minutes for the May 12th meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and accept them as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Weir, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5 are line item transfers. There are 2 for you to review and approve.
I make a motion to approve the line item transfers as presented.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This takes us to item 6, item 6. The outstanding bills.
I make a motion to approve the outstanding bills in the amount of $245,297.11.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our new elections administrator has obtained a bond. That would be item 7 for your review and hopeful approval of his bond.
I'd like to make a motion approving the bond for Elections Administrator Robert Sitz and for payment of said bond.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On item 8, Commissioner Weir, I guess is I think switching bonding companies, redoing his bond. My only question is, have I been writing your name wrong the whole time? Because it says W-E-I-E-R. Or
No, you've been writing it correctly. That one's misspelled.
Okay, so if someone moves to approve this bond, it's with the correction to the correct name?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the bond for Precinct 1 Commissioner Tommy Weir for the
Is there a second? Commissioner Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Which takes us to replats. Item 9, Commissioner Weir.
Okay, this is in Crabapple subdivision. The gentleman here is wanting to basically straighten up, it was 2 tracks, going to continue to be 2 tracks, but he's moving one line over, I believe, the way that they platted it. This was the old home place, had a barn and a house on it, and when they platted it, they platted the plat line right through the edge of the barn or whatever, so he's moving the line over and correcting that. So I would like to make a motion to approve the replat for lots 35 and 36 in the ranches of Crabapple Creek, and the new lots would be known as Lot 35R and Lot 36R.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Granberg, discussion. Does he own both of these lots?
He does,
So he's just cleaning it up?
yes.
Possible future sale?
Yes, he is.
Any other discussion?
There won't be any interference with, I see the way the lines moved with the water bill, bringing the water bill on lot 36R.
No, everything seems to be in order on that.
So they'll still be able to get a well on 35R.
That is correct.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, another replat. Commissioner Weir.
Okay, this one here is let me get to it. It is replat for lots 25 and 26 in Lake of the Hills subdivision. What the gentleman's trying to do here is they're going to merge the 2 lots together and create one larger lot, which combined will be .53, right at a little over half an acre. I'd like to make a motion approving lots 25 and 26 of Lake of the Hills, merging them into a lot known as 25R.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Leisman, discussion. This would be a good example of what maybe ought to happen with the lot the county has in Lake of the Hills. It's not really, I guess it's not so much about this transaction, but just that little lot is very small and maybe ought to be combined with somebody else's.
You bet. Look for a neighbor and see if they might be interested in merging that lot into theirs. These lots are ranging from 0.15 of an acre to a quarter of an acre. These 2 lots combined are a little over half an acre. So what it's doing, I kind of like the way they're doing it because it's cutting down the density in that subdivision. These things are approved for septic tanks at that size. So the more they can combine them together, the better I like it. So I encourage more people to do it.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then Commissioner Weir has item 11, another plat.
Okay, this one here is, again, in Lake of the Hills. It's a replat for lots 58 and 59. And again, they're merging them together. And it will create a lot known as 58R. So I'm making a motion to approve the replat, lots 58 and 59 into lot 58R.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker seconds. Discussion. So sometimes when we do these, we call them 58A and 58B, and now we're calling it 58R. What's that? Is that like the
R
R's
means
for
replat, so you can catch it when you see it.
And we do that consistently?
I believe we do.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Eaker has item 12 for a replat that I'm a little concerned about and wondering if we ought to consider passing and bringing back next time. for reasons of the math doesn't quite work out on the acreage split, and the road frontage doesn't quite seem to comport with our subdivision regulations. Do you agree that we ought to
I agree.
investigate?
I make a motion, we pass until the next meeting, until we can get
I don't-
further information.
I don't really think you even need a motion, we'll just pass
Okay,
it.
we'll pass it, okay.
Items 13, 14, 15, and 16. Yeah, I think 16. Involve some possible reimbursement for expenditures concerned with elections and things that we have had to do because of the coronavirus to ensure safe elections. And these are the steps that would have to be taken in order for us to get any reimbursement. And that's about the best explanation I can give you for these things. And the first would be authorization to sign a grant application to help us pay for coronavirus impacts on our voting.
So item 13, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign a resolution in support of the 2020 Help America Vote Act, CARES Act, sub-grant to the Texas counties.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then item 15,
Item 14, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the grant application for the 2020 Help America Vote Act, CARES Act, sub-grant to Texas counties and acknowledge a requirement matching amount of $2,540.58.
sorry, I got ahead of myself. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Eaker. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and I think we are to 15.
So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign a resolution in support of the Corona Relief and Economic Security, which is the CARES Act, including the Coronavirus Relief Fund, to provide potential grant assistance to Blanco County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Granberg. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then lastly for this subject matter is 16.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign a resolution to seek grant funding from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Coronavirus COVID-19 Category B Emergency Protective Measures, to offset the expenses for equipment and expendable supplies purchased in response to COVID-19 pandemic.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Weir. Discussion. Am I mistaken, Lee, tying 16 to 13, 14, and 15, and they're different?
15 and 16 will be together, 13 and 14 will be together.
All right. Okay. And as I recall, I see Mr. Megna in the room. As I recall, we're working diligently to amass all of the things that we've had to, that the county or any of the entities in the county have had to expend. And they may be, some of them may be,
Eligible for reimbursement, some of them may be.
but some of them may be things you wouldn't normally think of right off the bat. Like, of course, people think of masks and gloves and things of that nature, but there are other things that have been expenses.
Right, we purchased shields for the tax assessor collector, the county clerk, and some other offices, so that's gonna be reimbursable. There's been, for the sheriff's office, we've had some expenditures, so.
Right.
So yes. And if we are eligible to receive the funds to replenish what we've expended, why not go for it?
Precisely. Is there a second? There is a second. Commissioner Weir seconded.
Yes.
Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 17 has 4 parts. And it involves basically our transportation infrastructure grant request. You all voted and approved at the last meeting to do this, but there are some technical steps that have to be taken to approve. The application was actually submitted, I think, at the end of Friday, and the deadline is tomorrow, I think, unless today's the 27th. And these things have to be done in order for us to be for our application to be thoroughly complete and in order. So, with that, if you would consider approving, accepting, affirming, and ratifying the application and all of these subparts A through D.
I'd like to make a motion approving, accepting, affirming, and ratifying of the application submitted by the county for the purposes of securing grant funding under the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund Program, including acceptance of approval of the following. A, the acts of designated TxDOT county contacts for the purposes of preparing and submitting the application. B, the roads reports as the 2019 road condition reports required by Texas Transportation Code 2015.005 and 2015.018. C, the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund Program project list. D, designation of a county contact person and authorize the county contact person to prepare and or execute documents on the behalf of the county in matters relating to and regarding the TxDOT CTIF grant and grant program.
Is there a second?
No, second it.
Mr. Eager, discussion. I would like to point out that while the amount that is allotted under the current program is $87,000 in the grant, and that's what you all approved applying for. I noticed that there are other counties that are similar in size to us that are getting a lot more money. And when I inquired about that, of course they have oil field issues and their roads get torn up pretty bad, but some of them are in line to get so much money that you have to wonder if they even have that many roads. At any rate, I learned that quite a number of counties either didn't apply or maybe aren't applying for the whole thing, and that there's going to be I guess a residual pool of money once the first round of grant funding is accomplished, and that we will be in line for a second round of grant funding. And I think that was taken into account by the 4 of you in preparing the project list, because we well exceeded the $87,000 in the hopes that if more money came along, that Blanco County could utilize it for other projects.
Judge, part of the reason why some of these other counties aren't applying is it because they have to match whatever funds that they're asking for?
Well, I don't know, I haven't talked to them, but I would guess that if you're getting $4 million and you've got to come up with, what is it, 20%?
20% of it.
So $800,000, and like I said, some of the counties are smaller than us. Maybe that is a hardship, I don't know.
Gotcha.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then that takes us to item 18, and Ms. Early may want to speak to this. Consider the approval to appoint a reserve investigator for the county attorney office. Vote on any action taken.
So currently, the county attorney's office, we don't have our own investigator under our budget. Back at budget time, it was agreed that the sheriff's department would provide us with someone a few hours a week to assist our office, and so we passed on actually asking for an investigator solely for the county attorney's office. At this time, we do have an applicant, someone who's interested in being a reserve. That would mean that the county does not pay a reserve officer or a reserve investigator, but this investigator could come and assist our office, and been told up to an entire day or two a week, as long as we need the assistance. And so, for safe measures, I thought it was best to approve Commissioner's Court. It's not a budget matter, and no benefits would be paid for a reserve investigator, but just so the county and the commissioners were aware that we had an additional person working in our office. But this would assist our office, I would say, tremendously. At this time, cases are being handled a little bit differently, our dockets are being handled differently, and all this has really happened during coronavirus. So cases are not being booked into the jail as normal. A lot of them are being filed at large, is what we call it, meaning they turn in the case, arrest warrants have to be obtained later. And so we also haven't been able to do our regular county court dockets or our JP dockets, which means all of those are a little bit backed up due to coronavirus. And so we will have to track down witnesses, run new criminal histories, and that type of thing. I would say all the way through summer at least. And so having an additional investigator, an actual reserve, would be of great assistance to our office right now, especially since we have someone who's willing and able to do it without pay. It would mean that my office would hold that officer's commission through T-Code, and we're currently looking at the steps for that. But again, that's not something that would be a cost to the county as a budget item that hasn't been provided for.
I guess my question to that is why would we need to run it through your office and not be a reserve for the sheriff's office?
This officer is not employed with the sheriff's department. This applicant, it would be a reserve investigator. This applicant, and I don't have any issue letting the Commissioner's Court know, is Ben Avalon, who was employed with Blanco Police Department. He's no longer employed with Blanco Police Department, and so he's not an employee of the county at this time.
Even though there's no expenditures, are there any other outside costs that might be able to be reimbursed from what we were talking about previously?
The only thing that my office could potentially look at is sending a reserve investigator to some type of training, but we do have a budget for T-Cole that my office receives money, I would say annually, for T-Cole. And we have to use it for T-Cole type of expenses, and so that would be whether we contributed to a bailiff school, whether we sponsored officers in the county to go to a training, and so any kind of training for a reserve investigator could be covered under that T-Cole money that my office currently holds. It does need to be used for that type of purpose.
So if the, today you mentioned it's Ben Avalon, but tomorrow if Ben Avalon goes on, and you have this slot and somebody retires from DPS or, I don't know, pick the agency of your choice, you would have the ability to have, and they wanted to volunteer, so to speak, to be a reserve investigator for your office, you'd have that option for, it's not just Ben Avalon, but
No, and
somebody.
that's correct, Judge. It could be for anyone who is not currently employed by the county, especially the sheriff's department. It would allow us to have a reserve investigator should we need it anytime.
Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve and appoint a reserve investigator for the county attorney's office.
Is there a second? Mr. Granberg, discussion.
Can I ask the sheriff if he has any issues with this?
I don't have any issues with it. Ben's very good investigator, he's thorough.
Do you, your reserves right now are, your commissioned officer reserves right now are more like for patrol, aren't they, or things of that nature?
Yes, they're more, we do have one that's an investigator mainly, but he is coming on full-time as a patrol officer next month. And then we have a deputy officer.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 19 involves a burn ban. I'm prepared to pass it unless you all want to talk about it. And before we get to item 20, I wanted to bring up a matter that's not on the agenda, but it's a matter, I think you call it community interest and is authorized under the Open Meetings Act, to talk about upcoming meetings. Our next scheduled meeting is the second week, or the second Tuesday of June. And some things are opening up. I wanted to kind of get your temperature or your thoughts on the idea of opening up a little bit. As you can see, we've arranged the courtroom so that there would be a considerable amount of distancing for folks if they wanted to come and safely be present. It seems to me, my thinking is at the point that we get there, which whenever that point is, and that's what I'm asking you all about, but at the point that we get there, then if the public wants to participate through public comment, they would come here. We could continue to still broadcast meetings so that people who just want to see the meeting but don't care to participate can do so from home. And we're working on setting that up a little nicer than the setup is this morning. But it will take a little while to get the wiring done and things done. All that said, question is, how ready are you all to open up a little more, or do we want to wait and see?
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine.
I'm fine with the way you've got it laid out now, is what we're talking about.
Okay. Got it.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Granberg, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you.